Welcome to another show of Invest Africa. On our show today we have Andrew Raghavan, who is a management consultant at Castile Resources. Andrew, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Andrew, today we'll be talking about the human resource aspect, which is an important resource in any companies. Tell me, what does Castile Resources do and about yourself?
Okay, so Castile Resources is a recruitment agency. We're a specialist recruitment firm, and we originate from Malta. So we tend to focus on IT and finance recruitment, and also executive search. And myself, I've been in the recruitment field for the past 5 years. I've been specializing in the recruitment for IT profiles, and have worked for a number of companies in Mauritius and overseas.
Yeah, and looking at our Mauritius as a platform, we always have this debate that there's a lot of people who are unemployed, not a lot, but among the youth there's a high unemployment. Among the ladies there's a lot of unemployment. And there's always that debate. We have a problem of structure in terms of the skill doesn't match the demand, and demand doesn't match the skill. Can you tell us more about this?
Well, from an IT standpoint, there's a lot of scope and growth opportunities within the IT sector today. Now, the question is whether we can meet demand on time, because as we realize, time is of the essence.
And also we know the two pillars who is doing very well in our economy is the IT sector and the financial services, which Castile Resources, I think I might say, is a leader in terms of getting the matchmaking. How do you see these two futures evolving, and maybe tell us more about the talents that is required to make sure that we carry on growing?
Yeah, so there's plenty of companies looking to continue setting up operations in Mauritius, expanding their operations in Mauritius, and there's more and more companies wanting to do so. So they're also investigating other countries as well. So our objective will be to help companies find the talent as soon as possible. In a sense, we'll be helping the economy because we're helping to find the talent quickly and bring businesses to Mauritius, because many people know that Mauritius is renowned for its ICT, for its financial services. The profiles are in par with international profiles as well. So our objective is to generate that interest for businesses to want to hire talent in Mauritius, in both ICT and the financial services.
And the talent we mentioned, so what sort of skills that we need to bring about in this sector so that we can carry on growing rapidly as we've been so far? Exactly.
So in the IT sector today, there's a lot of demand for IT programmers with various different types of skill sets. A lot of the time programmers are being asked to have open source skills, to be able to use open source technologies. In the financial services side, it's more in terms of the accounting profiles. People who are ACCA qualified, fully qualified, completed their level 3. So in today's market we have this kind of profiles, but we need more of them as well. But as the time progresses, hopefully there'll be more on the market. Our objective as well is to help guide people to find the right opportunity for them, and hopefully go into the right sector which would be beneficial for their career. So it's not just purely recruitment, there's also some element of career guidance as well.
So the lifelong learning, which we might say. If we, on this human resource aspect, we know we have a lot of people who works very well, which has created the wealth of many different sectors in our economy. There's always that question in management is, we need not many managers, which we have a lot of managers. What we need to do is, if you want to take the company from its second gear to a different level, we need more people of entrepreneur mindset, agent of change. Like Michael Porter said, we need more leaders of change as opposed to people who just work.
I think the concept of leadership in Mauritius is a new phenomenon still. Most companies, managers tend to just remain as managers. The concept of leadership is still being sunk into the industry today.
It's a buzzword.
It's a buzzword. Yeah. Not many people have mastered the concept of leaders, but there are those who are very good at what they do and are regarded as leaders in today's industry. I came across a magazine. I think there was a magazine on leaders in Mauritius, but I think I think it's been taken too it's been taken too lightly. I'm sure not everyone in that magazine is a leader. They could be good managers, but may not be good leaders. And I think for education, through practice, through seminars, like you mentioned Michael Porter, he was in Mauritius as well recently, but by attending these seminars and these groups, and by talking to people, that you can pick up what leadership really actually means. It's a new phenomenon in Mauritius.
This aspect is very interesting because sometimes, this is my personal opinion, if you talk about leadership, you always think of quick changes, quick wins, but leadership is more than this. It's about employing people who are entrepreneurs, and very often when you go to interviews, they want to employ people as workers, and work in itself allows you to take less risks, whereas if you want to make change, you want to be a leader, you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to innovate for the process of the product, and you also have to innovate and have this entrepreneur mindset. So at some point when we are HR interview people, are we looking for this type of people to lead us?
Well, it depends on the kind of questions that we're asking the person, whether we're actually getting the information that we need to figure out the person's mindset and what they're trying to do for their career, how they would like to perceive themselves in the years to come. But if you ask the right questions and not just look at the questions being asked, but try to understand the person's personality, then you can get a clear understanding of what kind of person you bring to the organization and what kind of value they can bring as well at the same time. And it takes time, it takes practice to actually master the art of interviewing a person, like you're doing with me today. But with that practice and experience, you will understand the person's mindset and be able to pinpoint someone who is going to be a very good leader or just going to be a very good manager.
And there's another important, two important points which I would like to discuss with you, is the aspect of working as a team. Because very often we have this connotation that a lot of us Mauritians go to go to school, CP, we compete on our own, we don't work as a team, we don't bond with our friends, so we end up becoming individuals, not team leaders. That's the first aspect. And the other aspect is this aspect of planning, which we don't tend to plan. So the team, the planning, and if you can tweak that with the element of culture. Do we have a Mauritian work culture? I don't know.
Well, Mauritians, again, they're quite versatile characters, all right? And a lot of them have had experience overseas as well. So, when they go have that exposure outside of Mauritius, they get to learn different ways of working. And, one of the key fundamentals of working in an international firm is to be able to be a team player. Now, with that comes practice and exposure, and with time, Mauritians tend to get comfortable with the idea of working with their colleagues to achieve a common result, a common goal. But again, it's just the exposure that you need to have. You're right to say that in today's schooling system, it's very competitive, about always trying to be first, a laureate or whatever it is. But with time, people get to understand that competing is not always the best thing. Sometimes
being number one,
being a team player, more long-term results, more better results, more long-term results.
Andrew, you've also mentioned earlier that you work in Malta. Is there much of a difference in terms of the HR system, the culture between Malta and our island Mauritius?
There's a lot of similarities between Mauritius and Malta. The professionalism, the economy is very similar. I mean, Mauritius having the ICT and the financial services sector, Malta is exactly the same thing. They have the ICT and the financial services sector. So the way they do business, the way that business is treated is very similar. The same problems and skill sets is being experienced by both countries. Whilst Malta may be looking into the Far East to find talent, we're trying to find the talent in the same direction, but even towards Africa now as well, to try and find key skills. So very similar cultures, very similar approach to doing business. I feel that maybe Mauritius is a little bit more behind than Malta. I think Malta may be like a mirror image of what Mauritius could be in the years to come.
So we have two island cultures.
Two island cultures. Whilst Malta may have a little bit better infrastructure in terms of transport systems, Mauritius is trying to improve in that area, I feel. But again, the size of the country itself is different between both Mauritius and Malta. Malta is a little bit smaller population, but multilingual. It's got a diverse cultural background. Lots of people from across the globe work in Malta.
Andrew Raghavan, HR consultant from Castile Resources. It was a pleasure having you on our show. Thank you.
All right, thank you.